Hi, my name is Chris Hopcroft. We are here on livepeer.tv. We have a day where we are celebrating the Berlinale Film Festival. We've just had a beautiful performance of music from Telemark. Coming up next, we have Kyle and Emil, who are going to talk about what they're doing with blockchain and media and digital creativity. Later on, we have Anastasia Casabon, I beg your pardon. Anastasia Casabon, who's going to be talking about some of the work she's doing with curating films for Girl House Cinema, Girl House Theatre, Girl House Theatre. And then afterwards, at the end of the day, Skull House Cinema. I keep on getting it wrong, but that's what hosts do, so that's fine. And then later on, we have Camille Gatan, who's an independent film producer, makes feature-length movies with Oscar-nominated actresses. So she's cool. She's coming up 6 till 7. But for now, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Emil, who's going to interview Kyle about some of the work he's doing with Canadian connecting media with blockchain, which I'm a big fan of, media with blockchain. Emil, over to you. Thank you for being here.
Perfect. Thank you for having us. So, Kyle, what do you do? 3 sentences.
I'm an arcanist.
Okay. Well, I don't know
that's a really tough question to answer because, I believe that many people do many different things. I wear a number of different hats. I'm the executive director of the Blockchain Association of Canada. Is one of the jobs that I do, and with the association, what we're trying to do is help tell the story of blockchain and educate around what the technology is, how it works, and how it's going to transform industries. Working at the blockchain industry level to understand the challenges that the industry is facing, and then also kind of act as a bridge as well to existing sectors and industries who are looking at the technology about how do we kind of adopt it. And through a trade association, you have the ability to kind of work with other trade associations that represent entire industries. And when we think about blockchain technology, there's this opportunity there's this window of opportunity to rethink the way that entire industries kind of work at that transactional protocol level. So, we're doing kind of that stuff. Other kind of roles that I do, I do a lot of strategy work for different organizations. So I'm an advisor to Data Wallet, which is how we met. And with that, we're trying to unlock universal basic income for the planet in the form of unlocking our data that we all have, which is valuable, and right now it's being monetized by third parties, and there's an opportunity to retake control of it and then monetize it and sell it or offer it in exchange for goods and services and better goods and services, because we could go on all day about the data industry. But and other than that, also really working on the spirit of blockchain.
Okay, so what is the spirit of blockchain?
So it's the spirit versus the greed. A lot of people in this space are being drawn in and kind of sold it as a way to get rich or an investment path, and a lot of companies are raising funds using tokens, and which is a great amazing kind of path. But it's more than that. This technology is a fundamental kind of shift in the way things have been done. This is the decentralization kind of revolution that we're seeing, where historically we've relied on centralized parties and groups to act as stewards for causes and industries. But now we have the opportunity to trust in this technology that allows many different people to not use a centralized kind of authority and trust in this protocol, be it Ethereum, blockchain, or Bitcoin, Hyperledger, any one of the other tokens that are coming out too. So,
right. So let's go back to the total basics. Let's say somebody has no idea what blockchain is. How would you describe it to somebody in 5th grade or something? Like a young person has no idea how that all would work.
Well,
what would be the simplest way to explain it to somebody?
So a really kind of like in explaining Bitcoin to people, I think Bitcoin's a great place to kind of start, and then you can understand blockchain. Like, you know, after it, Bitcoin is like the first kind of real blockchain, and like the biggest kind of, you know, in production. Like it's a simple financial solution, but the way I'd introduce it to people is, it's like a mailbox. Like, you know how you put mail into the mailbox? Anybody can put mail into a mailbox. Well, digital currency is like having your own mailbox. When you create a wallet, a digital wallet, you get an address that's effectively like a digital mailbox.
Right.
And anybody on the whole planet, if they know that address, they can put money into your into the mailbox, and you're the postman. You have the ability to move it. And what the blockchain is it's this record that connects all the mailboxes together. So if I want to move money from my mailbox and put it into yours, the blockchain is this file, is this general ledger that keeps track of all these money movements and of all these transactions that have taken place. So, and when an instance happened, when I put money, when I send money to your address or tokens to your address, there's nothing I can do to undo that. It happens. But it's in. Once the mail is in the mailbox, there's like, you know, nothing you can kind of do. And
why can't you do anything? Isn't somebody storing like the ledger, or
yeah? You can ask. Yeah, if I sent you some money.
No, but I mean, you send me some money, and I say, well, I'm not giving it back to you. Then can't you just go to the person who has the ledger?
No.
Why not?
Well, because the ledger is not a person. It's this decentralized system that runs on math, which means that when that instance happened, it gets recorded to the book. There's no person that has control in these systems to undo that transaction.
So basically it makes banks obsolete.
It doesn't make them obsolete, but it makes them unnecessary.
Which is the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Like,
okay.
like email made letters like unnecessary. It didn't make them obsolete.
Okay, fair enough. You can still keep them if you want them, but you don't need them.
You can still keep using them. And that's the same thing with banks. They're gonna still be around. And banks had a monopoly over this entire system, over digital money transfer and holding on to your money. And like, if I wanted to send you money and I was in Canada and you're in Germany, like, you know, we'd have to use the banks, or we'd have to use like a system on top of it, like a Western Union or something to do that. But now with Bitcoin, you can simply download, or Ethereum or any one of the tokens, you can just download a wallet, like set it up, create that address. You don't need anybody's permission, and then you just can text it to me. You can tell me over a phone if you want, or you can just copy and paste and send it to me. And then with that, I can just send the money instantly to you. So that's like, you know, that's incredible, and that represents this massive shift forward that we're seeing. And compared to, like, you know, and you can still use banks to achieve that. Right. I don't need to. They're no longer necessary, and it's also a pain in the ass because it takes a long time. There's clearings. There's also an approval process in a sense. They have the ability to say, you know what? No, we're not going to. We're going to hold this money, and like, you know, and it's at the end of the day, it's my money that I was trying to send to you. But with crypto, I can just, you know, instantly, there you go, it's done. And we're in the very early days of this. A lot of people are trying to understand the technology like so thoroughly. Whereas if you like akin it to email, like, you know, do you know how email actually works?
I have no idea.
But you know that it works.
Yes.
You use it.
Yeah.
Like, and when you signed up for email the very first time, like, you didn't try to understand everything behind it. You just knew it worked.
Well, I guess the difference is there that people are always scared that somebody's going to take their money, and they don't know that the banks are their worst enemy. Well, next to the taxman. So basically people believe that when the government says something is worth that and that much, it's worth that and that much. And a lot of people are scared of the whole cryptocurrency.
It's different.
Because it's different, but actually it's a lot safer. Because it's not connected to one central point. That makes it harder to penetrate.
And there's always these externalities that could happen, which which could threaten the system. I was talking to a banker, and it was like, you know, what happens if potentially we issue like a sovereign digital currency, and all of a sudden, like I can say to my bank, like, you know, just send all the money to my wallet. I don't need you guys anymore.
Yeah.
And then what happens if everybody does that? Like if there's this mass migration, all of a sudden, like the banks don't have all the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't have. It's like the banker was like, well, that's a run on the bank.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing for us, like, and for everybody. And so these are some of the challenges that we're going to have to.
The thing is, we're not far enough yet, because at least in Germany, if you want to, even if you want to get a phone or rent an apartment or whatever, you always need a bank account. It's a big problem. You can't just go out and rent your apartment with cash. No landlord does that.
You need a credit card, right?
The credit card is not that important in Germany. It's not like in the States or in Canada. You just need a bank account, a German bank account.
You need a German bank account in order to get a phone.
Exactly, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
A phone with a contract. I could go out and buy a phone, but with no contract.
Mm-hmm.
And in Germany, if you want to get it hooked up, you have to give in all your details and everything. And then you need a bank account so they can deduct the money. There's also prepaid phones, but it's just a big pain in the ass. But
and I think we're going to be seeing, like, you know, so what the banks were providing then is they were acting as like trust, identity kind of trust agents, that you were good for this contract that you're signing on to.
I guess, but they're also, I mean, the banks are kind of like the mafia. Because they're lowering the rates of when you lend them money, the rates are going down, and there's banks that give you negative interest now. So basically, if all the banks did that,
you have to pay them. What negative interest means, you have to pay the bank
so they
hold your money,
basically,
and then they can lend out your money too.
Exactly, yeah. So
yes,
it sounds like a great system. But see,
is the opposite true? Will they pay me to give me money?
Of course, definitely. I mean, if you, I guess we're getting a bit sidetracked here with the banks in Germany or Europe in general, but. I see the whole crypto thing as a very big opportunity to get out of that, because there's moves, for example, in Holland, it's quite hard to pay cash anywhere. They all want credit cards. There's some place where you can't even pay cash anymore. And as soon as cash or currency is eliminated, and there's only basically plastic money, and negative interest in banks, you're fucked.
In the previous vision of the future, it was you would be forced to use the existing financial system.
And that's why the whole crypto is so
now
great.
what crypto represents is digital cash.
Exactly,
which is
incredible. Perfect, yeah.
Which is terrific.
So I think
open and inclusive, and so and digital and programmable too. So as we see more services kind of rise, and because it's open, people can build just the little modules that attach and generate these things. And I mean, I'm a real big believer that there's one piece that's missing to this puzzle so far, and that's an open digital wallet that that everybody can kind of get onto. Because right now one of the challenges is is in order to use blockchain and get into blockchain, you need a wallet, and there's tons of different ones. They're not really wallets; they're kind of like money clips. And if you want an Ethereum one, you've got Jax or MyEtherWallet or MetaMask, or there's these different ones. Then if you want, there's blockchain.info, which is doing Bitcoin and Ether, and then you got Copay, which is doing Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. But if you want IOTA, it's a different one too. And if you want if you want to use EOS, that's going to be another one. Or if you want to just hold some salt tokens, there's different. So there's all these different ones. So once we have this is the need for a standard open wallet that all these developers can just plug into. That
so
doesn't
what's the problem? Why can't just somebody make that?
Well, because it's it can't be just this isn't something that one company can make. Because people aren't going to trust in that one company to make it.
But why would I trust Copay to keep my Bitcoin? Well, I could also trust the people that do the one wallet that everything fits in, no?
Well, I mean, and Copay has its open source, and you can verify the technology in it. But they're that was a spin out of BitPay. And
but couldn't they just expand and do everything?
They can. It requires a lot of kind of time and effort, and especially if we want to see like this mass shift over. Like we're talking, like this is the key to digital identity is the wallet.
Right.
And like, how do you get governments on board? How do you get Facebook and Apple and Google to all like ditch their wallet projects? Right?
Right.
Like towards something that's open, self-sovereign, and smart.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where it's going to need, how do you get the intelligence agencies, how do you get the NSA and CIA to also work with MI6 and the Chinese intelligence in building out a layer on top of all these blockchains that is extranational, so it doesn't rely on the continuance of any kind of state sovereign powers, but also has the ability for 5 minutes. Okay,
Perfect.
No problem.
So we're in Berlin. What are you doing here? Why are you here, Carl? Because you don't live here, right?
I don't live here.
Where do you live?
I live in Ottawa in Canada.
All right. So why are you here? It's quite far, no?
It's quite far, but I'm here for the Berlinale Film Festival, where we're doing a workshop on blockchain technology and media,
Right.
called Changes in the Air or something like that. And
Tacky name, but okay.
yeah,
No, but
time for change.
okay.
But no, I've been working with some parties over in Canada in the media industry, looking at how blockchain technology can be applied. How can it be applied to verify, say, view counts or play counts across a whole bunch of different parties?
Right.
How can we use it to simplify licensing and royalties on a given, like, you're a film producer, you make films, like, there's different rights when money comes into a film, like there's people who might have royalties, so it needs to split out. Using blockchain technology and smart contracts, you can literally have the money go into that one address and automatically split out. Like that
would make my life a lot easier.
It would make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm trying to, in the spirit of blockchain, it's this technology is going to free us from a lot of these shitty friction points that are forcing us to do things that aren't core to our, our value concept of what you want to do. It's just holding everybody back. Like, you probably have 10% of of your time is spent on just organizing bureaucracy, chasing people down, dealing with people saying, "Where's my money?" It'll be coming.
Right. Yeah.
Versus just being able to automatically do it. So we're looking at that kind of stuff. Also, just I like to kind of just travel and meet people and be open and see where things go. And right now we're in here at livepeer.tv, and this is a super interesting concept, and hopefully we can get some good content that people want to actually watch. And
Right. So is that talk open? Can anybody go there? Or invite only?
I think you'll need a pass for it, but
okay. So we're just not going to say where it is because it's pointless.
Yeah, no.
You guys are not invited. Sorry. But
well,
if you are, come and
if
watch
you
it.
want, just shoot a message. I'm sure we can make
the name on the guest list?
Someone can make it happen. Where there's a will, there's a way. So.
All right. So if you want it, Kyle's going to make it happen for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
First 5 people.
First 5 people.
First 5 people message me on Twitter at Kyle Kemper. You're in.
Good.
I'll give you Bitcoin too.
All right. So I guess that's it from us.
That's it for us.
Thank you,
Until
guys.
next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
And thank you, Emil. Thank you, Kyle. This was all quite spontaneously done. So thank you for coming in today and talking about your views on blockchain and media and film. Super.